Welcome to Downtown Cafe. Please subscribe to our channel and also turn on your notification bell in order to get our latest updates.
Et avec quoi avant? A moment of silence for that question. Et avec quoi avant? Oh, God bless our nation, Cameroon. In a nation that is grappling with a conflict in some parts of its own territory in the northwest and southwest region, where more than 6,000 peace-loving Cameroonians have been killed, also destructions of properties, millions of displaced persons both internally and also externally, and asking for why this conflict is unable to be brought to an end and why this conflict cannot be resolved within the speed of light, like the Nigerian Biafran civil war that took just 3 years and ended with reconciliation, and asking for why we cannot sit as a people to resolve this. Is a major problem in a nation where petroleum products are being produced on a regular basis. In fact, asking for accountability as to where these products are being sold, the amount that are generated by the petroleum products, be it in Bakassi, be it at the refinery in Limbe, which has now been is under construction. It's a major problem, despite clearing evidences of the fact that the nation is producing petroleum products more than some of the other states in West and Central Africa. In a nation where taxes have been increased at all levels, at the level in which a common man is unable to breathe. In fact, taxes have been increased on electricity, those who even use water, those who even use the regular mobile money. All level taxes have been increased, and asking for why these things have been increased and what is being done with the money to ameliorate the lives of common man and the peace-loving people of Cameroon. Thou worth no tongue can tell is a problem. In a nation that used to have the best airline, not just in West Africa, Central Africa. The nation used to have the best airline in the entire Africa. It was a pride of Africa, known as Cameroon's airline. Asking for why it is failing and not effective in its function, and why it's not able to outmatch Ethiopia Airline is not a major problem. The question we are asking is, how did we get here? That we are being asked, avait, quoi, avant? And to be more precise and to be more disheartening to the situation, you get people cheering and clapping that avait, quoi, avant, and people clapping for what we are asking. In fact, asking now for good governance is a problem. Asking for why things are not working effectively, peacefully, is a problem. And we're asking, avait, quoi, avant? Avait, quoi, avant? It's a definition that we are seeing Cameroonians being mocked by the fact that by the privileged few who have harnessed the wealth of the nation, who seemingly don't understand the pain of that mother in Bonamusadi market, Bonaberi market, in Gokitunja market, in Lewo market, in Widukum market, that mother who sits in Mokolo, in the far north region, who is unable to put food on her table, and asking her, avait, quoi, avant, is not just an insult, but it's something that Cameroonians must understand, that the privileged few cannot continue to hold and harness the wealth of the nation. The time has come, and I believe that Cameroonians know what to do when it comes to 2025. It is an insult, not just to the peace-loving people of Cameroon, and also to the government in power, for someone to ask, avait, quoi, avant? Let us take time to ask ourselves and answer that question in a brief 2 minutes or so. Avait, quoi, avant? Let us go down memory lane. Memory lane, electricity supply in some basic cities were stable. In fact, in the southwest region, there used to be a power station that was at Yoke. When you are going to Kumba, it was known as the Yoke Power Station. It used to supply the entire southwest region and part of northwest region with stability of electricity, with fewer money to pay, and sustainability. Electricity could last for a longer period. Avait, quoi, avant? That was what we had avant. Avait, quoi, avant? We used to have the marketing board. The marketing board was the regulatory board that enables product and farmers to enjoy the dividends of their hard work. Avait, quoi, avant? The marketing board is no longer there. Avait, quoi, avant? Let us come to Cameroon Airline. The Cameroon Airline used to be the pride of the nation, in the world, Africa, to be more precise. In fact, when you call Africa, Cameroon Airline used to have Boeing 734 Plus, which was known as the 11th province. Today, let me ask, do we have such Boeing? Do we have international flights from Cameroon to other nations, not just Nigeria? Avec quoi, avant? The level of corruption was minimal in the nation. People were not judged by the language and the dialect they speak. They were judged by the base of what they can offer as far as developing the nation is concerned. People were not judged based on the tribal tendency that they would call them Tontina, Sardina, Graphi, this and that. People were not judged by the color of their skin. They were judged by the content of their character, the morality they uphold as a nation and as a peace-loving nation. Il y avait quoi avant? That was what we had avant. Il y avait quoi avant? We used to have roads. The Douala Boya road used to be okay. As we speak, benefits of il y avait quoi avant is what we enjoy in the Boya Douala road. When you go to the Boya Douala road, some of the good portion of the road is they are what were constructed by the old regime. What the new regime possibly had done is amelioration on some patches that got back. Il y avait quoi avant? That was what we had in avant. In fact, if I continue to list the plethora of issues that we used to have avant, you will not have time to listen to my guests whom I've brought to answer that question. Il y avait quoi avant? As you ask, il y avait quoi avant? Let us also note that history is on the shoulders of those who were clapping that il y avait quoi avant. The truth is, when electricity is being cut, whether you are CPDM, SDM, MRC, you don't have the electricity. When there's traffic, you enjoy the traffic also, because we all know that good governance is now seen as a threat to democracy, thwarted definition of the privileged few democracy. But this is not how Cameroon is. Cameroon is a land of promise, land of glory, and deep endowment forevermore. This is House of Commons with me, Tamai Jarvis. Dear Jarvis and panelists, good afternoon and happy Sunday. 1st October 1961 to March is an excellent review. It's an excellent review. Today, Cameroonians are saying no. Now, we flew from Tico to London. Marketing board manages the coffee and the cocoa trade. 3. Powercam manages the electricity supply. 4. PWD, that's the Public Works Department, manages the roads network. 5. Water Works manages the water supply. 6. The trade schools, infrastructures, colleges, high schools, polytechnic and institutions, professional universities. 7. PAMOL is limping. 8. CDC is limping. 9. Many others. And who dismantled this novelty, or is it still in the dismantling process? This is this message is coming from Bogop, if I have it correctly, in Tico. Ali. Happy Sunday to all those of you who are joining us, and if you are just watching, you're watching House of Commons with me, Tamai Jarvis. And here in the studio we have gentlemen who have come here to answer the question from 1st October to March 10th, 2024. Il y avait quoi avant? That is a question we are asking. How much evolution have we done so far? I begin with you, Engineer Dixon. 1st October 1961, when the nation reunited or united, it depends on which historical fact you stand, till March 10th. Il y avait quoi avant?
I think 1961 is a long time. And all I can understand from that epoch is from history books and also from eyewitnesses who were there and who are still living. I think many of them are there, and I've been privileged to meet with many people who were stakeholders during that time. The testimony I get is that Cameroon was really at a trajectory that was very promising. I never lived to see that time, and I can't really compare. But those who were there, when they speak, it's like my heart is broken, and I'm like, if things were like this then, normally we're supposed to be improving. What went wrong? It is the question I ask. You made mention of a lot of great things we had, like the marketing board. We had the marketing board. We had the Cameroon Bank. We had the Cameroon Bank at the time that had monies more than some banks in Cameroon, like the BSEC. The Cameroon Bank was the bank of the southern Cameroons. There was a lot of money and there were great projects that were going on. We had the Yoke Dam. You made mention of that too. So
power PWD,
the power works, the public works that was into construction. So every rational mind who is developmental oriented would have thought that, okay, whoever is in power will come and build on that. But to the best of my knowledge, if I compare that history to what I am living now, which I can't really say I'm proud of, it's heartbroken, it's disheartening, because it takes a technocrat. I made mention one time in the platform here that we should never politicize economic growth, because economic growth, when politics is over, we keep it aside, and then we come back as Cameroonians to look at how we can better the life of citizens, whether they vote for us or they did not vote for us. If you have 5 children, there will be that one child amongst your children who will never agree with what you are doing. Will you take that child and go and dump in one trash can where they dump children? No. But as a father, you will always try to place that equilibrium. So I think that at one moment, Cameroon lost its technocracy and focused more on politics and administration. There is place for that, but good governance administration comes when things are booming, because administration alone does not produce. You need the economy to produce, then you can now assign people to administer. But when you have more administrators than we produce, it is not workable, you know. So I think that Cameroon administrators and politicians should search their consciences, and many of them are of age. Maybe they are in better place to even tell if the epoch of the 60s and right up to the 80s, before there was a transition, was more better than where we are now. So that is my point of view, Mr. Jervis. I don't know if I still have time to buttress what I'm saying. Okay, now I want to draw the attention of leaders on certain key factors. When you are in the helm of affairs of an organization or a nation, your focus is the betterment of those people, and there are key indicators that you watch annually to see which level you are. We have indicators of economic growth like the GDP at 2022.
Which is known as the gross domestic product.
Gross domestic product. You are an economist, you better understand what I'm saying. As at 2022, Cameroon GDP was just about 23 billion, with a population of 27 to 30 million. Basically, according to World Bank.
Yeah, according to World
Bank. Yes,
no,
I don't know. I don't have any. And the GDP of Gabon has just about 4 million. 4 million. Their GDP as of 2022 was 21 million US dollars. Simple proportion tells you that by virtue of Cameroon population, we are supposed to produce more than Gabon. But how come Gabon, with their small population, small surface area, they can have a GDP that high compared to us with large land mass for agriculture? I think Cameroon is capable to fit the whole of Central and West Africa. But what is going on that our GDP is still that low? Productivity is low. That's just the meaning of that. Another indicator is gross national per capita income. Our gross national per capita income is at $1,600, annual, which is also not a good figure. And we have openness to international trade. I must say that a country that is open to international trade is a country that is confident in what they produce and what they can give out. And also, what we talk of gross international trade is not just importation. We are looking at exportation and also international investments.
Okay, we'll be coming back to you, engineer. Before getting to Nick and also coming to Ali, let me take on this message. There was Tico Airport, Power Cam, Mobile Wing Police, sanitation inspectors, thus ensuring sanitation right into the compound. They produced marketing board, Medino, Medivi, UNVDA, etc. were brought. We brought a bull. Okay, we bought a blue ball pen at 50 francs, which could last an academic year, if no more. I greet all of you in the House of Commons. This is coming from an anonymous sender. Please, when you send us a message, you just indicate where you are. This other one says, avait, quoi, avant? It's a question that we should ask those who are leading us, not them asking us, avait, quoi, avant? Because they know what we had avant, and they know that what we had avant is better than what we had today. So my appeal is that Cameroonians should prepare 2025. It is a good opportunity for elections that they have asked us this question, and let us reply them at the ballot box, not just to vote, but protect the vote. Even it means for you to stand there until it is counted. Let us guard the nation and ask them later, avait quoi avant? Nick Ano, 1st October 1961, when we united or reunited, depending on which side you stand, and now, avait quoi avant?
Yeah, there were a lot of things avant, as we can say, what was there before. Coming from the question of the minister who asked that question. We saw that question as a kind of misplaced question at this kind of time, as a kind of manipulative question, and just kind of to intimidate Cameroonians to forget their current sufferings, and because they think that Cameroonians are comparing what was in the past and with what is in the present, and are seeing a lot of discrepancies between what we're living and what we were we had before. You know that if somebody was hungry today and doesn't have food to eat now, may begin to think of the better plates of food he used to eat before, and he may just glory himself in that if currently he doesn't have something to eat. So that's what most Cameroonians are facing. Is like the current regime has kind of brought the country backward economically, because they have forgotten to know that the way has advanced, and it's like we are standing on a standstill position. We are not moving with the advancement of the way. We're just in the it's just like in the kind of valley. We're just like in the kind of economic valley that everything doesn't seem to be moving ahead. We expected all these projects that were before now, all these projects owned by the government, not even like they were individuals. Most of these parastatals were owned by the government. We see it today that it is very difficult for any public company run by the government to function. You function for a few months, you see that they have changed the director general and bring in another person. So it's just like a kind of political compensation to most of these parastatals. And when you look at the massive amount of salary they pay them, you pay people who are not producing, you are paying them 15 million, 20 million, 25 million per month. And they are not producing anything to the economy of the country.
Or even if they are producing the peace.
Yes, even if they are
producing, they are not producing anything, at least. They are
I mean, compared to the salary you pay them. No, there's nowhere in the world where public servants are paid 25 million. If you convert that money in terms of dollars and in terms of euro, even in America, which have one of the strongest economy in the world, they don't pay public servants that kind of money. So in a country where we are barely surviving economically, and you're paying and wasting such money on people, multiplying a post to compensate political allies and the rest, these are things that are bringing us backward. If you multiplicities of functions, you find what they're doing, they're not seen. So all of these things sum up in what we call the cost of governance. The cost of governance in Cameroon is just too high. And there is no way we can grow economically with that kind of system. It is not rocket science to understand these things. Because most of these, our politicians makes governance look like something that's so complicated and mysterious that
only them can understand.
Yes,
so complicated, only them can understand.
Yeah.
So we want to ask questions like, what are you people saying?
What are you saying? Yeah. So they forget to know that the way has become global. That we're seeing what is happening not just in our neighborhood, But we are seeing what is happening in countries that are poorer than us in terms of natural resources. Yeah, the country Cameroon is so rich that if its resources were that harnessed for the good of the common man, there will be nobody in Cameroon that will have the desire to like leave Cameroon, as we are seeing like in the mass exodus of Cameroonians, the fine brains of Cameroonians that are being trained and
which is our second topic.
they're exported out of the country anyhow these days. So all of these things we can just but accuse the governing class. They are the cause of our problems, and we cannot say that in any other language. And we are calling and appealing to their consciences that governance is something that is collective, and it is not something that is meant for just some few people that only God created them with special brains to manage a country. That's what most of our politicians have made us to believe, that it is a kind of privilege to like lead in this kind of country. Governance is something that's always continuous. You come, you play your own role and leave, and then give chance for others to play their own role. If we want to start mentioning what was before now, we are going to provoke a lot of Cameroonians, and which is not our intention to do that. Well, it would be like we are mentioning a kind of paradise that was existing before, and then it is no longer today.
But that's the question you have been asked.
Yeah.
Avait quoi, avant?
Yeah, there was a lot of these things. Some of us in our
you are not
own
the
early-
person asking the question. You're answering the question that was asked.
Yeah, some of us kind of live a little bit of these things when we're young. You talked of the marketing board. Most of our parents could sell their produce. Most of our parents were farmers. We grew up when the marketing board was just about closing down. And at least we saw my father, for example, I saw was a member there. And I used to see in those days they used to sell coffee. They used to make a lot of money from these things. There was price stabilization, and it's not like something today that the price is determined by some people and the rest. So if we want to mention what was before, we start crying here today, so which is not our intention. We can only say that we have gone down the drain economically. We are not progressing, we are not growing. We cannot say we are growing. Because normally, as population is supposed to be growing, there is supposed to be a corresponding economic growth following population growth. If you want to construct roads, and even most of the projects we have in Cameroon, the governing class made us to believe that it is a privilege for them when they construct road, when they open school. It is the largesse of the head of state.
Magnanimity.
Yes, of the head of state. As if it is money from his cocoa farm that is using to do that, which is not the case.
Ali, let's assume that from 1st of October 1961 to 20 March 2024, we didn't have good. Let's assume that there was no good road. But should we stay without asking for good road? If you look at how much the world has evolved, should we stay without asking for electricity? Where we look at how much the world has evolved? Yeah, very quite.
If you go somewhere, you have to respect people's culture and tradition. In our tradition, in our culture, a woman has no right to stand in front of her fathers, in front of her traditional rulers that she found on the place, to speak with contempt. A woman has no right to stand in front of them, to cross those red lines. Staying in an area, or they give birth to you in an area, it never means that you know people's culture and tradition. Or speaking people's dialects never means that you know their culture and tradition. The violation of people's rights, culture, is a very bad message to my people from the north. Those who were clapping They are CPDM members. They encourage their minister to pass the message that she wished to pass in front of people without knowing the consequences, without knowing the message, how it is devastating. Cameroon's economy still depends heavily on the sale of its products on the world markets, where we face challenges like such the fluctuation of prices, cocoa, coffee, timber, cotton, petroleum, and then the economy of the country is unpredictable. It is covered by corruption, bribery. Nothing is moving. It is stagnant. Amadou Ahidjo left Cameroon with industries. Actually, we have infant industries that are growing up. They are not allowed to grow due to the high tax imposed on them. And many regulations. I don't know why this journey of bribery and corruption can permit them to grow. Impossible. Everybody is having his or her office, waiting for different envelopes to permit you to grow in your enterprise that you have opened. Impossible. The benefit in this enterprise, it might be 90% that you give to the government and 1% that you pay charges, you pay your employees. It can't go. Amadou Ahidjo left this country with 188 industries. Today is closed down. Those companies were locked down. We have, let me cite, Camship, Cameco, Camsuco, Cellulcam, CEP, DGTC, MIDEFT, ONCB, ONPD, Rigifercam, Sacherie, SCP, SEDA, SNEC, Socapam, Hevecam, Agracam, Semri, and many other enterprises.
Oh, if you have them, you can list them, eh?
The other enterprises, they are on drip. The government used to take our money that we produce and inject on those enterprises. We have Sonara, we have Semri, we have ADC, CDC.
They're almost dying.
They are dying.
They are on drip.
They are dying. I don't know. I don't know we are going forward. I don't know we are going forward or we are going backwards. I don't know where the level of the economy is going on. I want to ask again. Amadou Ahidjo left Cameroon with aeroplane, Boeing 747 that crossed international boundary. Today, Cameroon is renting aeroplane, 3 aeroplanes from Kronos. It is a Guinean company.
So we are renting.
We are renting. We are renting those aeroplanes. They used to take that money from the government, from our account, to rent those aeroplanes. Are we not having such amount of money to pay those aeroplanes? Actually, il y avait quoi avant? Amadou Ahidjo left the Douala seaport. Amadou Ahidjo left the Tico seaport. Amadou Ahidjo left the Garoua seaport.
Even Tico Airport.
Tico Airport, that you can fly to London. You can go to America.
and go to whatever.
The amount of money that is being paid for the flight is 198,000 francs from Chico to London. But today it is the amount of price that is paid from Douala to Ngaoundéré. Are we going further or we are going back? I don't know what is going on. Amadou Ahidjo, if Amadou Ahidjo was there, we cannot face this crisis of today, northwest and southwest. A government stand and fight with his population, taking money in our account, pay military. We used to finish our weapon on our civil, on our brothers and sisters. We finish our money, not with the
foreigner,
not with the foreigner, but we fight with our population to kill them. The money is finished. If today, example, Guinea, Equatorial Guinea want to fight with Cameroon, can you stand and fight with them? Impossible. If Amadou Ahidjo was around, the Boko Haram insurgency cannot exist. Actually, my people from the north region, from the far north region, is due to hunger, hardship in economy, high tax. Some of them are illiterate, they have not gone to school. A simple officer of the police will just go and frighten them and take money every day in their small store that they can open to have their daily bread. There's some tax that you pay. Hygiène et salubrité, mini-commerce. You pay OTPV. You pay thousands of tax are being charged on those small businesses that cannot able to grow and feed their family. It is impossible that the economy can go.
So this is a push factor why some in the north go to join Boko Haram?
You say if they cannot go to join Boko Haram, those guys promise them money. They promise them money and they see. They give them money before they join the groups. Actually, if they are not allowed to enter into those groups, those who refuse, they come down to south. They are security guards. It's their work that they used to do here. It is just in 2022 that a university is created in Garwa, a region, a village of former president. It is just in 2022. So since 1982 till 2022 is the time that they create a university in Garwa. We have so many brothers, our brothers and sisters that come down from the far north to the University of Ngaoundéré and look for good school. It's the only university apart from the others that they create recently. And in that university, the work is not yet the work is not yet done because the amount of money that is voted to finish the project of that school by the Saudi Arabian, the actual government want to take that amount. The Saudi Arabia refuse. They cannot give them that amount in their hand because they know that the work will not be done. They know about the country. So they were allowed to go back with the money, and the university is still there. If Amadou Ahidjo was around, if he's alive, we were not supposed to be in this level of the economy where Cameroon is facing debts from left to right. We talk about those flights that we are renting, right? They cannot cross international lines. If they go to any country, they'll seize those flights. And it's done. Why they are renting? Because it's the name of Cameroon that is written on it.
Okay, Ali, we'll be getting back to you. You have given a deep insight. You have noted that 188 industries were left by the former president Ahmadu Ahidjo. You've also noted that we used to have Boeing 747, which is today we are renting aeroplanes. So you've also noted that we used to have the Garwa Seaport, the Tiko Seaport, the Douala Seaport, the Tiko Airport, which is a testimony which used to have international flight. The Bisong also airport, which used to operate because Bisong used to have, I think, an international flight in Bisong in Manfi.
Yeah.
There used to be an airport there.
Yeah.
We have the Garwa Airport. These are structures that were left, infrastructures left by Ahidjo. And you've also noted that Ahidjo left, you call a series of companies there, which I don't have it here. They say you talk about the Sopecam or the Camcam and Joecam, and that if the list is many. And that these were Susikam, Minidive,
Sacheri Cameroon.
So these were structures led by Ahidjo, and you said just few which survived, and the few that have survived,
only three.
Yes,
only three that is surviving.
They are taking trip.
You
also noted that we used to have Camship, because Camship used to be a major source of income generation, goes internationally, and now we don't have any.
Mr. Jarvis, there's another issue that is affecting the north. The government have sent the custom officers to prevent those retailers, wholesalers from going to Nigeria and buying goods there to come and sell it to the north. It has pressed down the economy of the north.
Why? Because they don't have supply that will contain the north.
They call a goods that is coming from Nigeria contraband. Why the good that is coming from Europe, Asia, America,
it's not
normal goods. Normal goods.
Thank you, Ali. Avait quoi, avant.
Six checkpoints between Garwa and Gaundere. You think that you go to Nigeria and buy a good that is cost 100,000 francs. You can reach with it in Gaundere 10,000, 5,000. How much will you sell it?
Okay, we're coming back. This one says, avait quoi, avant is indeed a question that all Cameroonians should answer. It is time for change. We live in a country where things are becoming more and more difficult for the common man. Here in Baturi, you will see Chinese company exploiting gold and the gendarmes guiding them, earning millions per month, and yet Baturi has the lowest standard of living with poor roads. I ask again, where are we going to? A question for all to answer. This is really troubling. This all right. Good afternoon. I enjoy your program. Please, we don't have to worry ourselves about all this. It is a sign of failed government. Let all the youth join the Reform Party and let us take this power from this government. Bar Elvis, writing from Bamenda. Writing from Bamenda. And this other one says, happy Sunday, Jarvis. Nice program. Avait quoi, avant is enough to tell Cameroonians that 2025 is a referendum of the good and the bad. Let us take this challenge and register massively for election as youth and start the campaign Avait quoi, avant, to make the youth to understand that the votes of 2025 will depend on what we are. This is Joe writing from Kumba. Engineer,
yeah.
If you listen to Ali,
yeah.
What did we get wrong? You said economy was left and politics was at the center stage. Now, what is the proposition?
Mr. Javid, before we come to proposition, I can relate very well with Mr. Ali. Because I said one time, God has permitted me to travel this country, and those regions that he mentioned, I have lived there. I was even there when the Marwa market was bombed in 2013. You know, if what he is saying is actually what is happening now, I think it's something the government needs to look at. It is true that the bilateral trade agreement between Nigeria and Cameroon does not permit certain goods to interchange the borders. But with the present status quo, I think that every father we want that the child should eat. If internally is tight and we see that Cameroonians can make their lives better by doing that border trade, it's just for us to search our consciences and put adequate control to make sure that what they are bringing in is not detrimental to the population, but can help them serve the population and make something for themselves and their families. The rate of poverty in extreme north is very high. Those who are rich are extremely rich. Those who are poor are very, very poor. They have very few middle gap. So it comes back now to the question that you ask. Let me come. You see, when a country is thriving, there are indicators, which I started mentioning before you stopped me, where I was on international trade, which Mr. Lee has just buttressed international trade. Because me, before politics, is economy.
Yes.
I don't see politics first, economy first. Whoever wants to govern this country, if you are not good in economy, please don't dare it, because we're already in a valley.
Surely.
You need somebody who is very strong in economy now to take us out of this valley. And one of the things we'll talk about is productivity. And productivity should follow with international trade, because if you limit yourself by selling only within the country, you may not make enough money. Your corporations may not make enough money. But when they start going internationally, giving those services out of the country based on the exchange rate, because you have the strength of your currency, internationally is dependent on your productivity. So once you produce more, your currency becomes high, and you are now in a better position to have trade negotiations with other countries. But where we are now, Mr. Jarvis, I bet you, if any company in Cameroon goes out, you'll be beaten hands down on the negotiation table. You have no power. And who has to permit these companies have power is the government, by creating enabling environments through regulations. Like what he said, we have young companies that are very vibrant, but the numerous regulations and taxes are doing what? Choking them. They can't really develop. Look at UBA Bank. UBA Bank is a bank, it was transformed. It had a previous name. The name UBA Bank under Tony Lomilo is a bank that has not been around for up to 15 years. UBA Bank is a new bank by virtue of its status. Or I compare with our BSEC and NFCs. Our banks don't have any branch out of the country.
Cameroon doesn't even have a central bank.
Yes.
To even start with it.
But now look at UBA Bank. It's in almost all African countries.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Look at Access Bank that just started after UBA Bank. That the CEO just died. It's in almost all the country. Look at Dangote now. That's how you know that the country is supporting its businesses. It's when the business grows so strong that they can take over territories and expand. We are not there yet. We are not there yet. Even the national companies that we have are dying. I love the way Mr. Ben puts it, that they are on drip, meaning they are in intensive.
That's true. CDC is creeping and crawling.
CDC is creeping
and crawling.
That's
Sonara
it.
is even the worst.
Sonara is dead. Sonara is waiting for revival. They have to put the cardiovascular CPR and all of those things, yes, for it to come back to life. You know,
it needs to be resuscitated.
So we need administration that is economic oriented, not political oriented. They should stop looking for who to victimize.
But engineer,
yes.
How do we explain the fact that Aijo left 188 companies and we are left with 3 or 4? Let's even just say 5.
It's 4.
Okay.
I said let's even just say 5,
Right.
or let's even say 10.
Something just happened. There's a scandal that just happened. It's about a month. I saw it over CNN, where it is alleged, not confirmed, because I've not gotten the detail yet from any national source, that some small groups of people received some billions from the Glencore.
Yes, Barrister at Kere
Muna is asking that they should mention names.
Yes, he worked on that, and
Yes.
he said it's not a lecture.
Okay.
Barrister Kere Muna stated it that those who want the fact, they should email him, and he will send them
it
the
to them.
fact
Okay.
to their emails to see
It
what is
means
happening
I
at Glencore.
have to struggle to get in touch with Barrister
Yes,
Muna.
it is on his page. Go
Okay,
there,
now
you send in an email.
I'm answering a question that what went wrong.
Yes.
You see, when you take people who are hungry and give a position, and all they think is how they can eat, you know, you find yourself in a situation where people can collect any amount of money for their stomach at the detriment of the people. So that is one of the factors. Bribery and corruption is what caused those companies to die. A foreign company can come that, no, don't bother, I will construct your roads. I'm going to give you personally, you, Mr. Jarvis, I'll give you personally 100 billion. I need this contract for 50 years. What will you do? You'll be ready to sacrifice your national industry to get those people on board, because that money goes into your pocket. You see that? So it is very simple. And I'm happy that such a thing happened, because I would have been talking now without facts. But it has happened. If they can do it at that scale, then you can understand what might be going on internally. Just imagine you have your small money, you have gone to maybe Malaysia or China, you have some partners that can come and open a small factory here. Struggle and get papers for those factories, and they come back and tell me if it's easy. Just for you to get papers, you want to check you have spent already 10 million. Your capital is how much?
And people ask you, yeah,
in the days of Aijo, from what I heard, it wasn't like that. People were doing their job with patriotism, because there was I. You don't know who is I. If you collect money anyhow, I hear your hair will roll. But today is not the case. When they collect money, we celebrate.
We clap.
We say no. This you will protect them.
We give them guards.
That's it.
Then we get the ordinary thief in machine, but
They will beat, crucify. They have stolen phone, but the people are stealing.
And we give them the people
are worshiping them.
Millions to give them front seat in
and
the church.
The economy is going down. See, Mr. Jarvis, come on. Listen, when the population is growing, right, and the growth of that population take you unaware, because I want to believe that the population of Cameroon has really taken the government unaware.
Why will he not take them unaware? We have not had the censor.
Yes.
The censor was politicized.
The population is growing. You are expecting people to die. They are not dying. They are still surviving. There is tension, population density, and economic growth is not commensurate to the growth in population. That's obesity. So we are swelling. I love what Mr. Nick said. We are swelling and not growing. And when you swell, what will happen? You explode. So we are almost at the verge of exploding. And we should be careful, because last time I was here, we mentioned it, that Cameroonians are not okay. The fact that they are silent doesn't mean they are okay. Or everything is going up. Salary is not going up.
They have increased it to 5%.
Every price is going up. Salary. What will 5% do? What is 5% of 41,000, which is 40? How many thousand? Minimum wage how much?
It should be around 48,000.
48,000. 5% is how much?
They're talking about increase in the public sector, not even
private sector. They said the whole meeting with the private
increment. They said the whole meeting. They have not heard.
They have not heard this second one meeting. They have not heard. Those in the private sector, how do they meet up? You know. So we should be careful. And again, infrastructural development is not advancing. These people, we made mention of productivity. Productivity should go with transportation. We don't have any ship. We don't have plane. We are renting everything. How are goods moving in and out of this country? So it is dependent on who. Internationals, so maybe money is going out. Capital flight. Very little stays here. But the little that stays goes with some into the pocket of some particular people, the privilege, and they are just okay for the people to be where they are, and life should.
And asking us the question.
Yeah, avec quoi, avant.
No route.
You know, no road.
No route, potholes everywhere.
In economic capital, Douala.
Even in Yaoundé, don't go to Douala. Don't even go to Douala. Look at Yaoundé. Does Yaoundé have road?
Ngaoundé Garwa, 12 hours. In those days, it's just 4 hours. It's 72 kilometers. 272 kilometers. Ngaoundé Garwa, 12 hours.
You have to do transit.
No, the same route.
the same road, bad road.
Potholes everywhere.
And it's like that on all our national roads.
Okay.
It's bad. It's bad.
We'll be coming back to you. Let me get to Nick, but before then, let me get on this message. Good afternoon to you all in the studio, and happy Sunday. I see people calling Cameroon a continent. I don't understand what they mean by continent. In terms of GDP, literacy rate, development, militarily, democratically, and health, Cameroon is not among the top 10 in Africa. President Paul Biya's regime is a complete blunder. We don't have any airport we can boast of. Douala Airport is the word is hash here. Douala Airport is --X. We don't even have a transport airplane that goes internationally. All national roads are dead traps. Corruption and nepotism is the only thing we are proud of in Cameroon. Cameroon government cannot carry out a single project without going to World Bank for loans. There was a rich production company around the Mbo Plain, but now we only import rice. Now that the world is becoming unprecedented, imagine Cameroon face an economic sanction. It means we will just cease to exist. Our elite, especially the senators and parliamentarians, are contributing to this nonsense. They pick up CPG and regalia up and down. It is time for President Pobia to do a transition. We need new political face. All these present political parties contributed to these woes. Lionel writing from Douala. And this other one, right, it says a greeting to you all in the studio. To all members of Parliament handling the issue of House of Commons. Sometimes Cameroon ministers sound either unpatriotic or ignorant of the country's history. If the head of the country was still a square functional figure at the helm of this country, some of those ministers should be relieved of their unmerited offices. How will an educated minister ask that what was there before? Such a minister doesn't merit being a minister because he doesn't know the history of his countries. I don't want to call the name. If there was nothing in the past, what has he put in place now on behalf of Cameroonians for whom he is a minister? Shame to the minister. Killen, writing from Douala. Ferdinand writes, says, greetings to you people in the studio. Cameroon is the only country that believes that tax is the only way that the government can make money. That is why none of our national companies are working. Ask you what is happening to Camtel. That is our own national telecommunication company. Many Cameroonians does not even know how Camtel SIM look like. MTN and Orange are all foreign companies, are the two best telecommunication companies we have in Cameroon. Ferdinand, writing from Douala. This one says, hello, good afternoon. I was 10 years old when Aijo left power. At that time, our nation was on very good footing. For 42 years, we have regressed more than 100 years behind. We used Nkongsamba, Mbanga, Nkongsamba to 4OC drugs and basic treatment almost free. The regional hospital. Our leaders have failed us. Manfe Tiko Bali had airports which were international. Our nation actually fits in alien patterns novel called Cry the Beloved Cameroon in a different context. I weep constantly for this country. Emifili from Boya. Nick, where do we go from here? How do we revive it? Let's assume that we had nothing in Cameroon, nothing. Because as you speak, we had the ray that Aijo left Cambrai was active, was very active. And we would have been talking about speed ray, we should also would have been talking about decongesting the traffic in Douala by creating a ray from Boya to Douala, such that people can actually transport their cargo, or somebody can actually work in Boya, stay in Boya, and work in Douala on a regular, as you have on other countries. But the ray in Douala similarly has died. Normally, when you are going to Boya, there used to be a ray at Douala, Bonaberi, there is no longer functioning. People have built their houses, block the railways. So, what is the way forward? Go to the next topic.
The unfortunate situation was that what Ahiju left, hunters came in. Because the kind of government that we have are hunters. They have hunters mentality. A hunter goes to the forest to shoot and kill. Different from a farmer. If you want to analyze from a hunter and a farmer, you will see that Ahiju was a farmer. A farmer plants and waits for growth and wait for the crops to mature and grow. And then when crops grow, they multiply for others to eat. If you plant a grain of corn, you expect to have many corns from that. But the current political leadership we have in Cameroon are hunters. They only look at where to shoot and kill and eat. And they don't think of planting so that they can harvest tomorrow, or planting for the future generation. That is the bone of contention of what we are facing in Cameroon. If you look at the mentality of our ministers, their purpose, their mission is to hunt and kill. And yes. If you look at the government, taxing people is a kind of hunting. If you tax your citizens too much, it's a mentality of hunting. You are supposed to make sure that you, as you are governing the people, you are putting in mechanisms for future growth. You are putting in mechanism to know that your population will grow, and you will need good roads, you will need good hospitals, you need schools where these people will go to. Not that it will be as if the population is taking you by surprise, and it's at that moment that you begin to think that you need to expand this road and the rest. And another unfortunate thing is the public accountability management of the country. It is very negative in Cameroon. We see the public service as a place where people go and eat and grow fat and go back home.
Cake.
Yeah.
If you are not busy, you cannot work there.
Yeah. So
you cut your own. I cut my own. My government will not work alone.
So this kind of mentality has to change. So Cameroonians have to also become hunters in 2025. They have to hunt these political leaders out. It is very trivial, and it is very necessary for our economic growth to go back to the ray, to remove us from the valley, the political valley, the economic valley that we find ourselves. Nothing seems like to work in this country. The social amenities, everything, if we want to. That's why we just summarize that we are in a valley. And we need people, we need conscious people who can really take this country out of this quagmire that we find ourselves. And we should forget about the political gimmicks that the current leadership is doing to make sure that to fool us that everything is well. And it's, as I earlier said, that we are swelling, and when you are swelling, it is a sign that you are diseased, you are sick, and then you need treatment. And somebody who is swelling, another person can look at that person and say that you are feeding well, you are looking good, you are looking big. But in that case, in our own case, it's not the case. We are sick and we need immediate surgery. And it's as if our economy is on a drip, as our fellow panelists actually said. Our economy is on a drip, is on a coma, that we need people who are conscious to like revive this country and move it forward. And the current leadership have to know that as political leaders, you cannot be eternal. It doesn't matter if the president rules this country for 100 years. Let him rule for 100 years. He will still die one day and go. Let his ministers rule for, they will still die one day and leave this country. And their names will be written in the dustbins of history, and for them to. And if you are a leader and you rule badly, your legacy follows behind right to your generation, your children that you leave behind. It will follow them through. They will tell you that your father in this year did this. Your family in this year did this. That will be your reputation, and it will be difficult for you to survive also in that kind of country. So in Cameroon, we need conscientious leaders who will think of the people, not about themselves. We need leaders with a farmer's mentality, and not leaders with hunters mentality.
Who are not selective.
Engineer, I think maybe the second topic we will push it to next week, because a lot of messages are coming in, and I think it's very fair for us to
listen to them.
Yeah. Because they too are answering the question. We have asked the question. Now Cameroonians have the right to reply what we had about. Now, so this person says Cameroonians are not ready for change in 2025. Are not ready for change. 2025 is around the corner, and no political party is ready for the challenge.
No one is
out. In 2013, APC was formed to take over in 2015, which they did. EFF in South Africa has been preparing the ground for the past 8 years to take over power in 2024. Cameroonian political parties are there for their stomach divine writing from Lagos. This other right, it says Ferdinand, it says Dear Jarvis, it is sad the First Republic handed down companies. The Second Republic for every year liquidates 2 companies from 1982. Federation and its novelty is the only solution. Vote for a political party that advocates for federation. This one says the government proposes a huge budget and adopt it with their paper tiger parliament. They now start suffocating the citizens to contribute and render the people more miserable. Failed and bad leadership, or I would rather say no leadership. Posterity will judge posterity will judge these who are ruling us. FM from Boya. I had to put dash for ethical reasons. When you are writing us, please air your mind, but don't be too harsh. Let me take on this other message. Those who are watching us on Facebook says this one is coming from Babila says, Babila Nuvi says, the economy is not still going down. It has stopped. The economy is finished. This other right, about right. Presently, as we talk, there is no light in Limbe to watch your program. Queer Chair Emmanuel, right? No electricity to watch you live TV. This is total dash for depriving people. This other one, right? It says, this is Ferdinand. Actually, it is a shameful and a disgraceful situation for the leadership and the governance of Cameroon. Cameroon is the only country that has gone beyond 50 years of the 21st century development, and more to that, a country where civil servants are more richer than business owners. I was born and grew up okay. Let me take you know, when I stay paused like that, I'm trying to quote the message. I was a president of Cameroon. How dynamic Aijo was a president of Cameroon. How dynamic he was. The growth of Cameroon. We are today with wolves in sheep clothing. Dash. Most disappointed is okay. The message is too harsh. This one says, good afternoon to you all in the studio. I am Hygienist from Betois. At first, we used to trade by barter. That was the best way of living. But now, it has become, the Frenchman says, la chèvre brought où elle est attachée. They don't value the right of their own citizen. And this other one, right, it says, Mr. Jarvis, thank you very much for this topic. It's an awareness for us 2025. I think I've seen voting before as nothing else that can change Cameroon. But now I am more optimistic to get my voter's card because this nonsense has to stop. I will vote and I will stand there and it will be counted and I will say that I contributed to nation building. I'm not sure this time around if I vote they will steal it in my polling station. I call on all to vote and guard their vote and let's use the social media to do the tally. Until then, we can know the next step if it's stolen. This other one, right. Good afternoon, Mr. Jarvis. This government has chosen to construct so many modern toll gates at the entrance of town, even though the roads surrounding these structures are so bad, marked with potholes, begging for rehabilitation as well as maintenance. Delan, writing from Yaoundé. Ali, where do we go from here? How do we resolve this issue?
Okay, Mr. Jarvis.
How do we advance?
If we can believe in the government to have this possible solution, we are still wasting our time. And we need to inform them that at least we will join the list to bring down the possible solution on these different problems that we are facing today. We want the government to keep the people out of poverty by creating employment for our youths, making them not to move out of the country, because almost all of the youths are planning to move out of the country.
And that was our second topic, but time constraint. That topic alone is a 1 hour discussion.
The government should, to organize or to make peace for peaceful, just and inclusive societies. The government should make the environment nature-based solution for the development. We need the government to bring the clean, affordable energy that permit people to read and write in their different houses and do their different activities. Drink potable water, having electricity at least to read when they go to school and come back at night without using candles. We want the government for the women empowerment and gender equality. We need the government to give legal documents to our population, the ID cards. It is our rights that the government should give us our legal documents.
Is it more easier to have a passport than to have an ID card there?
To even, there is it. The passport is just to do 24 hours, while the ID card is 8 years. That can permit us, just a single ID card can permit us to open bank accounts, to do our transaction. We don't depend on government to have work to do. We are very sufficient to work in our own.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. James.
Happy Sunday, NG. Nadesh, NG. Ndanga, not Nadesh, NG. Ndanga, watching us on Facebook, right? Happy Sunday, House of Commons. Before uniform persons cannot be seen drinking beer in public with their uniform. Hygiene and sanitation were managed by camp or community council and not municipality or municipal or city council with fine paid to defaulters. And this one says, good afternoon. When you are writing us, please be a bit civil. This one, right, it says, I like the analogy made by one of your panelists about those in charge being hunters and farmers. When the current government took over from Amadou Ahidjo government, which was flourishing, it didn't take 2 years to start singing the song of economic crisis. Why was it that when the current government inherited a very prosperous economy, the answer is simple. The Yaoundé man is a hunter while Ahidjo was a farmer. As soon as Ahidjo government was replaced by the Yaoundé every government coffers were empty. Hence, the chop broke pot. Until the Yaoundé is removed from office, we are bound to remain in the predicament. Unfortunately, Morris, writing from the United States of America, in a single day we can boast of 18 like cuts we here in Bunda, a thing that PowerCam never experienced. Right now, as I write, it is gone. We can't continue watching House of Commons. Even if you read this message, I wouldn't even get it. Engineer.
Yes.
We are used to the phrase that we have been asked, avait, quoi, avant, and we have before been asked who is the government. We have been told that we all are the government. Vous parlez là, qui est le gouvernement? Vous êtes le gouvernement. So now, how do we help the government? No, how do we help? We are the government. Let's assume. How do we help our collaborators, senior collaborators, to advance? You are a lecturer and I will not want to limit you as an engineer, but you also have a mastery of economic.
Yeah, I always say common sense, but I think I was a good economic student at the secondary school. Very good economic student.
So you is not a member of government.
Yeah, you are right. You are very right. The government has arms.
Yes.
We go now a little bit of civics. The government has the presidential arm. The government is having the judicial arm. The government has the executive, the parliamentary arm, and we have the population. Now we are also the population. We have an obligation to the nation as citizens. We have that obligation to produce. Not the government will produce. Us, the citizens. The farms will be run by us. The government has as role or function to provide us an enabling environment for us to go about our day-to-day activity and in productivity to support the nation. That is our contribution we can give. But when we have a government that is not playing its role well and is looking at ways to suffocate us, I think it's but normal that we talk back to them. So what we have been doing in this program is try to call to their attention that it is not going well with a common man. I think it is this is a more civilized way we can do it. It is enshrined in the Constitution, the right
of
to
the 1990 Constitution.
Yes, the right to speak out, to power, which is what we are doing. And Mr. Jarvis, I think I should call your attention to the powers that be. There is a change. I have this fear. It came to me like a dream that the nation is going to battle to balance technology and productivity, because what I see in our economy now is like we are embracing technology when we have not fully addressed productivity. And if technology come and surpass productivity, believe me, we have signed a death warrant for the poor masses. The poor will be eradicated, and those so-called influencers who can do their shows and get money from outside, and the politicians who are very good at stealing, will destroy the productivity of the peasants, and the peasants will die of hunger, and then the economy will be bizarre, and if we are not careful, will be annexed by a nation who understands productivity. What I'm telling you can happen. Annexation comes when everything has failed.
Can happen? Is it not gradually happening? When we look at other sectors, about the
next
loans
China,
and the billion that we get from China,
Voila.
how China takes over certain companies and say,
How do you explain now that we come to China, we take loan, okay? We take loan from China, and then we go and buy products again from
China.
From China.
So
where does the money go?
where does that keep us? Economically speaking, we are going down, and we will reach a point whereby we'll call a country, or the one will say, please annex us because it's more than us.
But the president, in his end of year speech, said he's encouraging import substitution.
It's not by speaking, Mr. Jarvis. Listen, 4 years is enough to transform an economy of a nation. 4 years. 4 years is enough. I said we need to prioritize. We don't prioritize anything. There is a sector you handle. Once that sector boom, it will affect the other sectors, which is not what I am seeing. I have been saying this year.
China started with agriculture.
And went to manufacturing.
Yeah, the manufacturing hub of the
China started with agriculture when they were under the British, they were a colony of British.
Yeah, you have stated here that if you look at any country, they have specific areas.
You prioritize. Cameroon should prioritize. And we should prioritize something that is trending. There is no way we can escape agriculture. Agriculture is what is trending. How can we permit our parents to still do agriculture with hoes and machetes and feed this country? How many hectares of land?
And they don't even have access to farm to market.
They don't have access to roads, and they don't have access to the technology like fertilizers.
Because I went last time, I went to Momo division.
Yes.
In Jikwa subdivision. Around Bengui. There's a village called Atong, Nkun, Emwa. There are villages called Nkun, Atong, Emwa, and these villages produce cocoyams. Those Makabo cocoyams. I saw bags of cocoyams piled in valleys, and they were almost decomposing. Bags of cocoyams. No roads.
So, Mr. Jarvis, let me say this. And the government should listen. They should open fertilizer companies. Okay? They should make it easy for Cameroonian farmers to acquire land for farming. They should put regulations that facilitate importation of agricultural machines, not hoes and machetes. If they cannot put their head around this, what I've said, and keep running around the bush, today they are running to this place to go and sign importation of grain. They are running here to go and sign importation of flour. They are struggling to sign importation of spaghetti and all those things. Nonsense. Cameroon should produce food enough for Cameroon. Once we get there, the second sectors we embarked is energy. Once you boost the energy and the agriculture is booming, processing happens. Processing happens naturally. It's a consequence of product and energy. Are you understand what I'm saying? It's that simple. So the people in parliaments, I don't know what they are doing. We should look at Far North. Far North, the land of Far North can produce what? We boost them. We come to West. West can produce what? We support them. Northwest can produce what?
Yes.
Southwest can produce what? Let all the 10 regions
have specific
farms that they produce, and then we'll discuss market now. You will see that Cameroon will be in a position whereby there's a crisis in the country, Cameroon sends food there. And that is where you start having power internationally, where you send help to countries. You negotiate.
Yeah, why are you even going far? Netherlands, the square kilometers of Netherlands as compared to Cameroon.
Yeah.
The square kilometers you see, Netherlands is exporting. But look at the square kilometers.
Very small.
Very small country.
Compared to Cameroon.
Yeah. Anyway, before getting to Nick, let me take on this message. This one says, greetings to you all in the studio and happy Sunday. Cameroon has one of the worst pay rates in Africa. According to the pay rate in Cameroon, a household meal is less than $2.5 per day. President Paul Biya government has taken Cameroon to the middle age. Cameroon needs a new political face to lead us. All these opposition parties are not serious. In the economy aspect, Biya is not strong. Militarily, he is not strong. The only aspect President Paul Biya is strong is corruption and nepotism. Trust must be told. Truth must be told. President Paul Biya and his regime have no much of an impact they have created. This other one, right? He says. Happy Sunday to you guys in the studio. I think it is now high time for us, the youth, now to start getting involved in politics. We must get involved in politics because we have had enough, and this 2025 is our year. Please, dear youth, those of us who have never voted, let us now make our voices heard. Let's go and register and have our voters card. This other one, right? It says the regime of President Paul Biya is dash and will remain a dash. For the president, for the present prosperity and future of the nation, he understands and chooses people that can only blackmail for important position because they are happy, they don't care about the welfare of Cameroonians. Therefore, I advise voting him out is the solution. I'm happy that Cameroonians are thinking about voting now. Greetings to you all in the studio. I am called Joseph Omboya. I was born in early 90s and I only know one president and I have given birth to my children. They also know the same president. Child, this life no balance at all. This one says, good afternoon. I enjoy your program. Please don't have to worry ourselves about all this. This one says, okay. If you look at what is happening in this country, you will just be crying. How can we move forward when we don't encourage entrepreneurship in Cameroon? I have proposed a 10 regional integrated farm that can bring 1,000 youth employment annually. But up to now, the Prime Minister has not said anything about 2 years now. Wow, that's somebody's proposal that the person has given. Nick, and we are almost out of time. Thank you for coming.
Thank you also for having me today, and thank you also for the topic. The topic is a lengthy topic that we needed more time to talk about, but we just have to keep sharing our ideas and doing advocacy for the leadership in place to hear us, to hear our cry, and maybe do the needful. We cannot expect solutions from these current leaders. We cannot expect them to change the economy of Cameroon. If they cannot do that for 41 years, and I don't think it is now that they will do it. So we don't need to hope on them that they will change anything around come 2025. We're just crying and praying for salvation come 2025, that there should be a change of leadership, there should be a change of mentality. Yeah, because even the scripture says that you cannot put new wine into old wine schemes. If you bring in people from the CPDM again, they can never change this country. We are still going to go another 41 years of being in the valley as we are today.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you also.
We are out of time. Thank you, Ben, for coming.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jarvis. I am very happy, and we have almost covered the topic, but some of the detailed informations are lacking to fulfill our mission. But at least we have we did our best to say what we know, and we encourage Cameroonians to vote. We encourage Cameroonians to have their voters' cards, to vote a leader that can do something more than what to do something for the country.
Okay,
in the next future days.
Engineer Dixon.
Yeah, thank you. It was an interesting topic, Mr. Jervis, and I think we have performed our duty to talk to those who are in charge of governing us. They can see how they can take decisions that will ameliorate the life of a common man. I think I want to wish a happy Sunday to all those who are watching us.
Felix Mbengs, a nice program. Can't find it live on YouTube. Felix, our YouTube channel has a small issue. It will be rectified and the program will be posted on the YouTube channel. Ellis Clifford, we have dams to generate electricity. But here we suffer every blessed day because of electricity. Fuel, same thing. Portable water does not reach all. Even data connection, just to see the way houses are expensive for rent and compared to what the state pays as housing allowance. A lot of messages coming. Some other persons even proposing that this topic should continue next week. The next is a very important topic, which may still also be in line with what we are talking there. Because next week I want us to look at the second topic, engineer, which is talking about the immigration, the rate at which Cameroonians are living, are looking at how the economy,
the balance with economic
growth that we have. I think next week Sunday, I don't know if you people will still be available, that we should have that topic of immigration. I want to thank you very much, Benjamin, for your technical assistant, Romanus, who is always there. Also to you, Alan, the broadcaster, and of course to you, my producer, Desmond Akeba, who is always there to produce the program. This program comes to you every Sunday at exactly 12 to 1:30 p.m. Rebroadcast is today, Sunday, 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m. You have a rebroadcast of this same program. You can better still go to our Facebook page, BT Media Group, and download the program and watch the program. If you want to participate in our debate, contact me on the numbers on your screen. I will include you into the WhatsApp group. I want to say happy Sunday to you, the members of Choir Negro Spiritual. Happy Sunday to all those of you who are in the choir, and that God should continue to give you strength to sing and to praise God. I'm thinking about you, Beteng. I'm thinking about you, Kandem. I'm thinking about you, Mariam. I'm thinking about you, Miriam. I'm thinking about you, Lorella. I'm also thinking about you, Antonella. The names are so many. And of course, Nicholas. And of course, Miriam. And of course, everybody that is participating. Until we meet again, stay blessed. And I leave you with this. No matter the matter, what matters is your matter. And what should matter for you is that you should look for the answer. Avait, quoi, avant. It should be a post for 2025 presidential election campaign. Bye-bye. My name is Tamai Jarvis.